Good evening, our beloved viewers. You're watching on Live RTD channel. Welcome to this English news edition. Here are the headlines. The president strongly condemns the attack on military base in Somalia. The Solidarity caravans continue its tour of the White City and surrounding areas of Tajura. And on the international scenes, the CAN 2022 highly the grand final between Ivory Coast and Nigeria. Those were the headlines. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margili, condemns with the greatest energy the terrorist attack directed yesterday early evening against a military base in Mogadishu by targeting a training center and not soldiers engaged on a waterfront. The terrorists do not realize a feat they admired helplessness in the face of sustained offensive of the Somali army forces, underlined the head of state. Continued the President of the Republic, reiterating the solidarity of the people and the government of Djibouti to the brotherly nation of Somalia in its legitimate quest to restore full and complete security over the entire extent of its territory. Yesterday, Saturday, early evening, a killing claimed by the Al-Shabaab terrorists caused the death of several soldiers in Mogadishu at the military training base. Djibouti's Minister of Economic and Finance in charge of Industry and French Development Agency seals a historic agreement late today, initialing a grant worth of 11 million euros. This sum will fund the third phase of a large-scale project to metamorphose the urban landscape of Balbela district in a visionary initiative to improve living conditions for residents. This ambitious initiative will focus on various strategies access, including the expansions of access roads and the transfer of infrastructure, the extensions of adhering waters and electricity supply network, and the development of the specialized gendarmeries unit to ensure the protection of all women and children. It is essential to emphasize that the main objective of this integrated urban development project too was to open up that Layable in Mostike's neighborhood. The head of Balbela is a northwestern zone for initial investment of 13 million euros during this first phase. The northern part of boulevards and the pave will crossing were erected over the making it easier for the school children and local residents to get around the access of drinking water and considerably improve as was lightening and bringing a new era of prosperity and well-being of the resident of Balbela. In his speech, the Minister of Economic and Finance in charge of Industry, Mr. Ilyas Musa Dewale, explained that this ambitious initiative will focus on various strategies access, including the expansion of access road and the transport. He also underlined that the extension of a drinking water and electricity supply network will be available in the deployment of specialized gendarmerie units to ensure the protection of human rights and women, but also the children in the neighborhood of Balbela, conclude the minister. In an interview by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Affairs, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf responded several questions concerned about the regional situation as follows.
Djibouti is a coastal country living on its economy is relying a lot on maritime business, maritime trade. We have very good infrastructure port infrastructure, and we have been noticing that the level of transshipment has decreased, substantially, and even dropped by half in a few weeks' time. We also have noticed some shortages of products coming from Europe in our markets. We also see other port activities being affected seriously. So the security and safety of maritime navigation is paramount for Djibouti. We need this escalation or tension, be resolved in a way that will certainly bring back on its feet, this whole maritime business. And I know there is a nexus between the attacks carried out by the Houthis against vessels and ships and what's going on in Gaza. I think both problems should be resolved very quickly. We need what's going on in Gaza, the ceasefire be immediately announced and the war stopped there. And we also need the Houthis not to disrupt, the maritime navigation and maritime trade, because I think the whole world will be affected anyway. Djibouti is certainly, for the time being, one of the collateral damages of that tension and this escalation in the Red Sea and the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb.
Your country is not part of the international coalition that is launched attacks against Houthis. But do you think that eventually your country will be dragged into this conflict directly or indirectly?
I think Djibouti has always been a country that gives priority to dialogue. Whenever a crisis trigger in the region, Djibouti's policy has always been based on finding the ways and means to resolve problems through dialogue. Of course, we feel right now the consequences of even what's happening in Ukraine, the inflation, the global inflation, then what is happening in Gaza, and now the disruption of the maritime trade in the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb. We feel it. We really feel it, the consequences. But at the same time, when we hosted all those naval forces and military forces in Djibouti, our main target and objective was to contribute to global peace and the safety of navigation in the Red Sea and the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb. So since our principal position is really to create the conditions for that peaceful coexistence, peaceful situation, our conditions, we are not really, our intention is not to be dragged into this war. And we have always made our position very clear, telling all our partners that Djibouti is not hosting foreign forces that will have offensive posture, that will, take Djibouti land or territory as a launching soil for their military operations. I think this is not the objectives. What we need to stress and underline is the fact that Djibouti is a small, peaceful country working for global peace and trying to create the conducive environment for security, safety of the navigation in the region. And we are certainly not in favor of the escalation. We will keep away from that escalation, and we will need, all the stakeholders in the region to also try to find, the ways and means for de-escalation. This is our principal position, and we will be working on that basis in the near future.
Well, coming back to the regional issues, as chair of IGAD, there's a lot of tensions already going on in this volatile region between Somalia and Ethiopia, and of course Sudan pulling out of IGAD. Do you think IGAD is up to task to resolve these issues?
Since Djibouti assumed the chairmanship of IGAD in June last year, we have been always trying to create the conducive environment for a peaceful resolution of conflicts. Djibouti called for 2 summits within 3 months, 2 IGAD summits, try to create the condition for dialogue in the Sudan between the stakeholders, and also now urging and calling Somalia and Ethiopia to find a way to dialogue and not to create, new tension between themselves, and urge them to really, stay away from any action that could create the condition for escalation. So now we're also preparing a new summit in the margin of the African Union summit that will take place in Addis Ababa mid-February. So our position as chair of IGAD is used mainly to reach those goals. We have invited the stakeholders in Sudan to come to Djibouti, at least to meet in a face-to-face, encounter, and find a way of announcing the cessation of hostilities. We are also, if we don't manage to bring them to Djibouti, we will seize every opportunity to really create that condition for the encounter. This is the guidance and the results of the communique that has been adopted in Entebbe, on the 18th of January. We are working on that. We are trying to really push, the stakeholders in the Sudan towards that goal.
What efforts are you taking to prevent escalations in these tensions in the already volatile region?
We did not just stand, without any action. President Gele sent a special envoy to Port Sudan to try to convince, the leadership there to reconsider their decision to suspend their membership. And we are working on that too. But I think Sudan is a founding member of IGAD. Sudan is a very pivotal, a very important country in the region. So we need Sudan to remain in IGAD, and at least the chair, Djibouti, will continue to engage Sudan to reconsider its decision, and IGAD is trying to help anyway. We don't have any other agenda. We are trying to bring peace to Sudan.
Well, Ethiopia and the self-declared state of Somaliland signed a controversial port on naval-based deal, which has angered Somalia. What do you make of this?
The Djibouti's position from the very beginning has been very clear, which stand on the principle of the sovereignty of countries and the territorial integrity of member countries. And we have been very clear about that. This sovereignty should be respected by each and everyone. Then I think IGAD is trying to handle this issue. We had one summit in Kampala, Entebbe, more precisely. And we will be having also another summit in Addis Ababa, trying to really decrease the tension, go towards, the objective of de-escalation, and find a way of creating between Somalia and Ethiopia, the harmonious relationship that used to exist. So this is our role, but I think on the principles, we do not bargain. These are principles that is contained in the IGAD Treaty, in the Constitutive Act of the African Union, and also in the UN Charter. So this is our position, principal position.
Your country is helping Somalia in its efforts for peace and security. We know your troops are part of ATMIS. Tell us about these efforts.
We in Djibouti have a very special relationship with this neighboring country. And from the very beginning, when the state collapsed in Somalia, Djibouti was the first country to organize a reconciliation conference in July 1991. And then we did not stop. For so many years, Djibouti has been really very active in trying to bring Somalia back on its feet. And everybody remembers the ARTA conference, and even the system on which now the state institutions in Somalia works is the system that is the outcome of the ARTA conference. So we will continue to help Somalia, I think, for so many reasons, culturally speaking, historic reasons, the geographical reasons, that's, I think, something that the Somalis themselves feel, that Djibouti is really the closest friend and the closest partner that they can rely on.
The Republic of Djibouti officially submit its combined third, fourth, and 15th periodic report on measure taken to comply with the previews of the Convention of Geneva on the climatizations of all forms of discrimination against women, ratified in December 1998 to the United Nations Human Rights Committee on 8 February 2024. In her speech, the Minister of Women and Family said that it is a pleasure for me to speak on this occasion on my behalf and my country, the Republic of Djibouti, to present the success and the possibility to achieve in the development and protection of women's rights in accordance with the elimination of a convention of all aspects and discrimination of a woman. First of all, allow me to thank the committee, the economies of West African countries as the dedicated to the advancement of women's rights worldwide. As you know, my country, Djibouti, has approved many programs. All materials are provided and reserved for women's rights, while my country, Djibouti, has murmured several agreements like the Conventions of Geneva and the right of a child adopted in 1990, Bank of Rights, Civil and Political, the Convention on the Rights of People with Disability, and finally the African Charters of Children's Rights regarding the development of young children in Djibouti, establishing the foundation for an effective system with a focus of three important things. So to develop the good environment, Djibouti has implemented strategies for social protection and national employment policies with a program of action and has a long gun to reduce poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, today is an opportunity to show up these cards of reporting on the countries of Djibouti. I would like to confirm you again as it is committed to this status and condition of a woman in my country without to be discovered in a new, we are ready to discover a new proposal, conclude the minister. The Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowe, and her counterpart in charge of Economic and Finance, Elias Musa Dewale, cut the ribbon to the inauguration of the monitoring of a center for young business leaders. In addition to the Minister of inauguration of the monitoring center was attended by the senior executive of the MGC. In this case of first advisor Idris Musa Ahmed and the technical advisor Ms. Medina Saleh, several business leaders and numerous other guests were present. The center comprised several promises for the benefit of young business leaders. This facility, donated the Ministry of Youth and Culture, will undoubtedly enable young Djiboutian entrepreneurs to share their experience, better coordinate their creative activities and private initiative, and also promote the development of our country's entrepreneurial fabric. The young entrepreneurs declare themselves proud of the inauguration of the monitoring center, which will contribute to the dynamic and spirit of initiative and consequently boosted the nation's private sector. They express their heartfelt thanks to Dr. Hibo Muminaso for her support in the development of Djiboutian entrepreneurship. In his speech, the Minister of Economic and Finance, Elias Musa Dewale, expresses delight and inauguration of this center, which aims to promote income-generating enterprises, and he also added that this facility will undoubtedly enable young Djiboutian but also entrepreneurs to share their experience and better coordinate their creative activities in order to promote development of our country's entrepreneurial product. For her part, the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hiba Moumen Asso, welcomed the inauguration of a Center for Young Djiboutian Entrepreneurs. This initiative is a part of the government's policy to promote the private sector in line with the roadmap of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Mergele, level for generating wealth and a job that can absorb the massive unemployment among young people, said the Minister of Youth and Culture. The ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to the Ivory Coast, Mr. Mohamed Burhan Ali, present his letter of credence to the President of the Republic of Senegal, Macky Sall, on Thursday, February 8, 2024. As the first ambassador extraordinary and plenipotentiary of the Republic of Djibouti to the Republic of Senegal, with the resident in the Abidjan resident during the ceremony, which took place at the Palace of the Republic in Dakar. The Djiboutian diplomat convoyed the fraternal greeting of the President of the Republic, Ismail Mergele, to the President of the Republic of Senegal, Macky Sall, and his wishes for prosperity and development to the brotherly people of Senegal. For his part, the President of the Republic of Senegal welcomed the Ambassador Mohamed Burhan Ali and took the opportunity to ask him to convey fraternal greeting to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Mergele. The both parties agreed to raise the level of cooperation between the two countries. Yesterday afternoon, the conference room of Al Rahma Development Complex hosted an event dedicated to the inauguration of the Kuwait Al Rahma Tree Caravan project under the kind patronage of the Ambassador of State of Kuwait to Djibouti. The event was attended by the head of Africa sector of the NGOs Al Rahma in Africa, Mr. Yusuf Al Tawil, the regional director of NGOs Al Rahma in Djibouti, Mr. Abdul Ghani Al Khuraishi, the director of Al Rahma Hospital, Mr. Mohammed, and also the technical advisor of the Ministries of Health, Mr. Ahmed Hamad, the beneficiaries of medical convoy service, which are delighted this year by their diversity and specializations. Medical caravan are an important means of delivering healthcare to communities, particularly those that are remote or have difficulties accessing to the medical service. The ambassador of the brotherly state of Kuwait to Djibouti, Mr. Said, expressed his satisfaction at the sponsoring of the inauguration ceremony of a Kuwait Al Rahma Caravan Tree project by Al Rahma Hospital in cooperation with the coordinations with the Ministry of Health in Djibouti. The Kuwaiti diplomat express the strong and historic relations between the two brotherly people of Djibouti and Kuwait. The Kuwaiti ambassador to Djibouti also took the opportunity to express his thanks and appreciation to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Mergele, for his kind patronage of clarity of work in Djibouti. In Tajura now, last stop on the tour of the Caravan of Solidarity, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Ms. Ulufa Ismail Abdu, went to the sub-prefecture of Adailu, one of the sub-prefecture of Tajura region, is known to be the cradles of entire civilizations. In Adailu, the minister Ulufa Ismail Abdu was treated to a crowd, but since the welcome match, the event, she was received by the sub-prefect of Adailu, the prefect of Tajura, Mr. Muhammad Hamad, and the president of the Council of Regional, Mr. Umar Hussein, the parliamentarians of the region, elected officials, and population of Adailu comes on a mass to welcome the Minister of Solidarity. The minister subsequently inaugurated the village community promises of Adailu in the presence of the regional authorities in this Adailu district. Subsequently, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity and her team, surrounded by the authorities of the region and parliamentarians, met with the inhabitants of the village of Adailu and the surrounding areas. The sub-prefect of Adailu welcomed the minister, the executive of MAS and DDS to the authorities and parliamentarians of Adailu region, who urge the wise Hokals, women and young people, not to hesitate, present their grievances and need in order to be able to improve their daily life. The population move en masse from the tour of Adailu to meet the Minister of Solidarity, who closed in collaboration with the Tajura Solidarity Caravan. The authorities of the Greater of Adailu region spoke in turn to welcome the minister and her delegation. The grievances of the Adailu population, the regional parliamentarians of Adailu were present for this event for the grievance and recall the various projects carried out by the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity by supporting young people and women in creation of their own activities. In her speech, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Ms. Ulufa Ismail Abdu, expressed her thank for the welcome and indicate that the Solidarity Caravan organized during the week dedicated to these causes continue in Adailu region and allows to get closer to the population of Adailu to see what they need and also to see the project that are undertaken. We are on a third stage after all, and now these areas of Adailu that there are constant of this tour were anonymous, many things that are already be stabilized by our agenda and the course are seen each year in each region, particularly the grievance. So this year we have set aside on rural saving and credit caravans by cooperative closer to the rural population. The tribe of the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Ms. Ulufa Ismail Abdu in Tajura region, continue in the locality of Girori, located about 10 kilometers from Adailu. The population of Girori gave a very warm welcome to the Minister and her delegation, who were also welcomed by the sub-prefect of the locality of Girori in the presence of the prefect of Tajura and the president of the regional council, the parliamentarians of the region, a tribe which allowed the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity to go directly to meet the population who benefit from several projects carried out by this department and the ADDS executing bodies. In her speech, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Ms. Ulufa Ismail Abdu, said and thank all the population of Girori to the welcome and warm welcome. She indicated that the Solidarity Caravan organized during this week is dedicated to the cause and continues to the tour of the interior region, and now especially in the north of Tajura. This Solidarity Week allows us to get closer to the population and especially Girori to see what projects are still ongoing. And thank to God, we are the third on the stage after Adailu. Now in Girori, it's true that there is constant to the tour where we announce many things that are already be stabilized to our agenda and the course of the region, particularly the grievance for the site of rural areas, the credit cooperative, and the agenda is breaking a cooperative closer to the rural population of Girori. Still in the sub-prefecture of Adailu, the third of the final stage traveled by the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Ms. Ulufa Ismail Abdu, and her team were in the locality of Dafainetu, which holds the records for the number of agriculture and more than 170 gardens in her arrival. Upon her arrival, the Minister of Solidarity was welcomed by the authorities of the region and the cheering crowd. As everywhere it traveled during this week, the Solidarity, the Minister met with the population of Dafainetu and collected their grievances, wishes, and concern about the week of solidarity. The Deputy Umma Muhammad Hamid recalled that usually it is the parliamentarians who act as a representative of the people who convey the grievance of the population to the authorities concerned. She urged her compatriot in Dafainetu to take advantage of this opportunity and to convey their grievance and concern to the members of the government. The grievance of Dafainetu population, the population of Dafainetu did not divide from the rules and took advantage of the visit of the Minister of Solidarity and submit their wishes and grievance. The resident expressed the wishes for an extension of a school in Dafainetu because the number of students in the school continues to increase. Also, to strengthen public lifting, especially for security and well-being of the youngest. The farmers were not left out during this meeting since they requested the construction of a fence and around the agricultural premises, solar panels and station, recalling also that the number of farmers had increased during the recent decade, and a representative of people living with disability is intervened they indicate that people with this special need were just over 130, and that only four of them had health care. For what the woman in the to indicate that they had strongly and urgently need a passing card for the access to medical care. They also request premises to store product from craft, and finally the well support supply to the gardens. In her speech, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Ms. Ulufa Ismail Abdu, uh, listen to all the grievances of the people of Dafene to dedicate to this cause, convey to the National Solidarity Week for this edition, and the population also see the executive tank for the uh, agenda constant to the tours. We announce many things that are already stabilized, and that is undergone the particular grievance. So this year we are the side of rural saving and credit cooperative, but also the healthcare in the heart of the President of the Republic is land breaking cooperative closer to the rural population of Defene. To conclude, the minister. Indeed, the literacy schools were made by the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity in Beauty. The a campaign delegation of the minister by the General Secretary of UNFD, Ms. Fatouma Musa, and women parliamentarians from Tajura region made to the women and young girls, learners and men in the Fainetu region. Moving on to the international scenes, the Israeli army is preparing to carry out a ground offensive in the southern Gaza Strip town of Rafah, and to this end, the army and security service are reconsidering a plan to evacuate the town's residents, according to Israeli media. The Israeli Public Broadcasting Corporation stated that at the request of Egypt and the United Nations, the ground offensive will begin in Rafah after completing the large-scale evacuation of civilians from Rafah and its surrounding, and after the conclusions of an agreement between Tel Aviv and Cairo regarding the Israeli army's activities against the tunnels along the road in the Axis Gaza Strip. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.